Welcome back to Are You Smarter Than a Libertarian? I'm Jeff, your guide to the land of economic nonsense, where bad ideas go to die. Today's target, the labor theory of value, or LTV for short. This dusty old theory from Adam Smith, Ricardo, and Marx claimed that the value of a good comes from how much labor went into making it. Sounds simple, right? But spoiler alert, it is wrong. Completely wrong. And today, I will show you why. Now, let's cut through the Marxist fog with 5 brutal takedowns that show why the LTV belongs in the same graveyard as phrenology and New Coke. The first takedown. Value is subjective, not objective. Here is the first fatal blow. Value is not baked into a product like calories in a donut. It is in the eye of the beholder. The marginalist revolution of the 1870s, led by Karl Menger, Jevons, and Walras, shows us that value comes from marginal utility. How much satisfaction you get from one more unit of something. You could spend 10 hours making a chair, but if nobody wants to sit on the chair, congratulations, you just made really expensive firewood. The chair is not worth more because you sweat on it. It is worth what people are willing to pay. That is why diamonds, which take almost no labor to dig up with modern machinery, are worth more than a gallon of milk. Sorry, Marx, consumers set value, not factory whistles or central planners. The second takedown, the mud pie problem. Now let's play pretend. For you on the left, that's your everyday life. Imagine I spent 8 hours sculpting the world's most beautiful mud pie. According to LTV, that mud pie should be valuable because I worked hard on it. But in the real world, it is worth, well, mud. This is what Robert Nozick roasted Marx for. Labor alone does not create value unless people actually want the thing that is made. Marx, he tried to patch us up with socially necessary labor time. But that is just a sneaky way of smuggling demand back into the theory he claimed was all about labor. Sorry, Carl. You can't have it both ways. If labor alone creates value, every toddler's macaroni art would sell at Sotheby's. Now, this is the third takedown, and it is probably one of my favorites. Nature doesn't work for free. No one does. And here's another nail in the coffin. We still got 2 left. The LTV can explain why natural resources are valuable. Think about raw land, oil, or gold. You don't have to labor much to stumble across a gold nugget, but it is still worth a fortune. Why, you might ask? Because scarcity and usefulness drive value, not sweat equity. Even Marx himself admitted nature plays a role, but he just brushed it aside because it wrecked his story. Economists today point out that labor is just one factor among many. Nature, capital, and technology also create wealth. To say only labor makes value is like saying only the drummer matters in a rock band. No offense to drummers, but try playing a concert without guitars, vocals, or, electricity. Number 4, another great one. Profits are not theft. They are time and risk. Marx's big gripe was that profits come from exploiting workers. Capital is supposedly still surplus value, but Austrian economist Brom Bauer destroyed this by showing how production is roundabout. Entrepreneurs invest in long-term projects, bear risk, and delay consumption. That is why they earn profit, because they take on uncertainty that workers do not want to and are adverse to. Workers get guaranteed wages today. Entrepreneurs, we gamble on the future. That is not exploitation. That is risk compensation. If Marx were right, no one would bother inventing anything or starting businesses. But if you think Elon just sits around twirling his mustache while stealing from workers, you might need to lay off the Das Kapital and copium. The fifth one, real world failure. Finally, let's look at the scoreboard. Prices in the real world do not line up with labor hours. Similar labor inputs often result in wildly different prices depending on demand, technology, and consumer preference. That's what Marx misses in all of it, is consumer preference. Economists from Joe Robinson to modern-day analytical Marxists have admitted LTV it doesn't hold up. It's not scientific, it is circular. And it only kind of works in very narrow, unimaginary cases. Even Marxist-friendly thinkers like G.A. Cohen had to ditch it to salvage the exploitation story. In short, the LTV does not explain reality. It explains why communists keep failing Econ 101, and that's the easiest class. So let's put a bow on this and get out and enjoy the rest of the week. So there you have it. 6 feet of dirt on the labor theory of value. It is outdated, unscientific, and is about as useful as a mud pie at a dinner party. The Marxist revolution buried it over a century ago, but some folks keep resurrecting it like a bad zombie sequel. And here's the truth. This applies across all of life. Value comes from subjective human choice, not how many cows someone picked up making it. And profits are not theft. They are the reward for risk, time, and innovation. Now, if you learned something today, hit that subscribe button. Follow me on Rumble, Apple Podcasts, iHeart Radio, Spotify, all over there. And share this episode. And remember, if someone tries to sell you a mud pie, they are probably a Marxist. Until next time, stay free, stay informed, and stay accountable.